Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cold Showers, and this is a podcast where we're going to be discussing about everyday topics, issues, and all sorts of random things. Today we are here with a guest, Marissa,
Hello.
and of course our other co-host, Pranaya,
Hi.
and my name is Dennis. And yeah, so welcome. Today's topic is drum roll.
University.
Yay!
What drum roll?
Yay.
You don't need a drum roll.
Why not? University is great. What are you talking about?
Don't hype it up, man.
All right, so yeah, we're just gonna jump into university. Just, I guess, just to understand what we have studied in the past, and we want to study in the future and such, and just our experience around it. And I guess if you're someone who is coming into university or entering university anytime soon, you can maybe take some tips from us or whatnot. And yeah, so let's start with the first question. Obviously, what degree did we all pursue? So let's start with Marissa.
All right. So I recently just graduated, and I have a degree, and so it's a Bachelor's of Science degree, and it's Nutrition and Food Science, the general program. And yeah, I started in 2014, and I just graduated, so it took me 5 years to complete it.
Nice.
Yay, you're done.
Yeah.
And Pranay, do you want to just talk about your degree as well?
History. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Okay, so I did sciences first. I was in general sciences. I was gonna do a bachelor's in biology and a major in bio and minor in chemistry. But halfway through, I really didn't feel like it. All the labs were getting to me, and I was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. So I dropped out, and then I went to nursing after that. And now I'm done a diploma in nursing, it's LPN, and I currently work as a nurse.
Yay.
Yay. And Dennis.
Yeah, for myself, I got into business and I majored in human resources. I was originally going to do finance and accounting, but then I realized that I had a bit of passion, or a bit more of passion in like dealing with human beings and such. So that's why I went to human resources. And next year, I'm actually going into social work for a second degree.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Yay.
Yay.
Let's celebrate. Yay.
Yay, we all
We're all
graduated.
done our first stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Just watch. Everyone's gonna do a second degree. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
That's true.
Yeah.
We hate our first
Mhm.
degrees. I'm kidding. Yeah. So like, I think a question that like a lot of people like have while they're going through their degrees in university is like, what other degrees could I pursue, or what like, do I have a passion in this, or do I really not have a
Mhm.
passion that I am currently with what I'm studying right now? Like,
Mhm.
do you think you had
Mhm.
those sort of like ideas when you were going through university? Let's start with Marissa.
Sure. So like Pranaya, I actually started in just general sciences as well. So I guess after high school and then entering into university, I just chose sciences because I knew that like I liked physics, chemistry, and bio back in high school. So I was like, all right, I guess this is kind of like how I should go about it. Um, so and then in my first year, I took a just 100 level nutrition and food science course, and the professor in that class was really passionate about the subject, and the way that she taught it was really cool. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. I didn't know that the university even offered, a degree in nutrition and food science. And then that's when I found out also about dietetics and like dietitian. So that's not actually the degree I finished with. So anyways, so throughout my nutrition and food science degree, I would definitely say that there would be courses that I liked a lot more than others. But at the end of the day, I think I still knew that this was something that I was interested in. And I kind of just went with it, I guess. And the professors really helped for me, anyways, because I had really good professors. And just because they were passionate about what they taught and what they did, like it really helps you really engage yourself in the subject. So yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's good to always have like a sort of a mentor person like that
Mhm.
inspires you and motivates you as well and like keeps
Mhm.
pushing you. Yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
really good.
Yeah.
Yay.
I don't think a lot of people actually get to have a mentor slash
Mm-hmm.
professor that they bond with or admire.
Mm-hmm. It's actually a
Mhm.
very like rare case, and it's something you should really appreciate, like especially like you're in when you're in university. Like it's, I would encourage
Mhm.
you to find yourself a mentor, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Pranaya.
How about you
Oh,
guys? Yeah.
What was the question again?
uh, are there like any other
Oh,
degrees that you wish you pursued or like looked into?
I mean, I still plan on going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I can see this. I can see myself going this way, and I can see myself going another way. And it doesn't seem like I want to do nursing for the rest of my life. It's not
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
something I hate, right? But it's also, I mean, there's a lot of fields for nursing. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. People love it. Some people love it. I I like it so far, and there's so many new things to try. But I don't know. I just don't see myself doing it for a long time. So
Mhm.
I don't know yet what I want to do. There's some really cool things that I do want to do. Like I've been interested since childhood. Like
Mhm.
I've been really interested in alternative energy resources. So like stuff to do
Ooh.
with solar power, wind power,
Yeah.
hydropower, stuff like that. And I was also really interested in space,
Ooh.
Mm.
but I really suck at math.
Mhm.
So space is totally out of question because it requires a lot of physics, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then if I do want to go into engineering, then I guess I do have to train my math if I want to
Mhm.
work with alternative energy resources, like especially the engineering section of it, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mhm.
But that's something I am looking into right now. Something I want to do,
Cool.
hopefully in the future, maybe. We'll see.
I think that's really cool, especially how like things are changing these days and how, the need for alternative energy is like in great demand. So that's like a really cool field to be interested in for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think in the future, whether it'd be 100 years, 200 years, 300 years,
Mhm.
that will be mostly reliant on the renewable resources rather than coal
Mhm.
and oil. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey,
But yeah.
I actually
Okay.
did a whole project, like a business project on thermal energy
Yeah.
for one of my courses, and maybe I can share you some of my
Yeah.
resources, but like I don't think I have time to share it with you right now. But yeah,
No, 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 don't do it right now.
yeah, not right now.
Yeah.
After the podcast or something.
Yeah. Like all
Have
the
you
times you
seen?
promised me.
Oh, sorry.
No, no, go on.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have you looked into? I know that AOS offers like a environmental conservation science
Mm,
degree, but I don't know if it's because you talked about engineering, so it might not be
Yeah.
exactly what you're looking for. But yeah, I know that some people that have taken that degree they really enjoy it. So
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. What is this?
It's I think it's abbreviated to ENCS, so Environmental and Conservational Sciences, and it's in the Faculty of AILS.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I will
Yeah.
look into that.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely check it out.
do you know what AOS is, Pranaya?
No idea. I'll ask you after.
Okay.
Sounds good. Dennis, do you want to talk about your thoughts?
Hmm. Before I go into that, Pranaya, um,
Yes.
perfect practice makes perfect. So you can continue doing math, and I believe that you can become an astronaut one day, and you can tell me what the moon looks like
Oh
in the
my
future.
goodness. Stab. You know what's stupid though?
What?
I hate math, but uh I I did my what is it, calculus?
Yeah.
I passed calculus with a C plus,
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
then I did stats after.
Yeah.
I passed stats with an A minus. How stupid is how weird is that? How
That's
weird is that?
crazy. Oh
Yeah.
my
Maybe
gosh.
maybe you got better at math that one semester.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, math practice makes perfect. I gotta practice
Mm,
math.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah,
happy to
Dennis,
help you.
on to you.
So for me, just like the first episode, how we were talking about hobbies, um, I had too many like things that I wanted to go into before I started university. So like
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a teacher, an engineer, architecture, business, a chef, a pastor, and like
Mm-hmm.
the list goes on and on. Like
Pastor Dennis.
yeah, I was looking into
Okay.
it.
Wow.
But then I ended up going into business because I think my parents wanted me to technically go into business, and then it kind of worked
Yeah.
out for me because I ended up in human resources, which is something I do enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times when I realize that, oh, like, what would happen if I was like a teacher? Like, it would be so cool to like hang out with these kids and like teach them and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and or
Fair.
like become an architecture or build my own building and be like, hey, I built that, and then like show off to like girls, like
Wow,
Oh
but
my God.
flexing with buildings. Do you
Yeah.
want to see my design for the city? It's dope.
I made this box, this cardboard box.
Wow.
But yeah, like there's a lot of degrees that I still want to pursue, but like obviously there isn't time to just do degrees my entire life and do nothing with it. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um but the lesson I got from this is like despite what you're doing, like a lot of people they struggle with what they're currently studying because like they're like, "Oh, do I really have a passion for this or can I do this for my entire life?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should stress too much upon that. Like just let
Mm-hmm.
I would say like just go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
If you strongly don't believe that this is a degree for you, like it doesn't matter if you change degrees. Like a lot of people do change degrees, and there isn't so much pressure that you shouldn't do that. Um, just like
Mm-hmm.
really, if you do find something that you find very passionate about, just go for it, and you're not wasting years. You're like actually you're building up this experience and these skills for your future, and I think from what like let's say you did transfer a degree, your first degree that you transferred from away from, like you still learned a lot from that, and I think that is an asset itself. So yeah, I think just continue pursuing degrees and try to find passions in them and just have fun with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot
I,
of
I
people and yeah,
no, finish it, finish it. Finish
well
what you're saying.
it's just like I say a lot of people in university so stressed, but it's like I personally think it should be something you feel passionate about and you should have fun with it, and like I don't know. I don't think university is the most stressful place. Like a lot of people do think that, but like try to ease your mind and,
Mm-hmm.
be happy. Take care
Mm-hmm.
of yourself.
Okay, yeah. I agree with a lot of things you said, but I don't agree with go with the flow because if you
Hmm.
go with the flow, you're just gonna get a degree in something random, and
I
then you're
think
gonna be like, "What the heck? Should I just finish?"
I think what I meant by go with the flow is um like obviously if you hate your degree so much then like get away from it, but like don't stress so much about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, like don't kill yourself.
Okay,
Just
that
Yeah.
like
yeah, yeah. That has happened
Yeah.
quite a bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what was I was gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm getting old. I forgot what I was gonna say. I
Short-term memory
actually
loss.
forgot what I was gonna say.
It's
My
okay.
train of thought just lost its tracks.
We can come back to it.
Yeah, if I remember, I'll totally come
Okay.
back.
Yeah, so transitioning from this about changing degrees and stuff, since we're I think all first generation
Mm-hmm.
Asians
Mm-hmm.
in Canada, what would your parents think if you changed your degree, like in middle
Mm-hmm.
of like your third year or something? Like, do you think they would look down on it or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Can I start first, or
Yeah,
does anyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
So I guess for me, because my relationship with my parents is a little bit unique, and I'm not too close with them, and they're not too involved in my life,
yeah.
so I actually didn't really have any like outside pressure telling me to like go to university or like really dictating me what I can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like me deciding to go into the degree that I wanted was totally up to me, and it was kind of nice because I didn't have to like have someone be disappointed in me if I didn't choose a path that they thought was the right path and stuff like that. So that was total freedom and it was awesome. Yeah.
Mm. That's pretty good. Like
Yeah.
from other stories, from what I hear from my friends, like
Mhm.
a lot of their parents would pressure their children to go into something specific that they wanted to do, like some like engineering or med or something. But some of my friends wanted to go into like design and stuff, and they were really sad about like the fact that they weren't able to pursue what they really felt passionate about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because all these engineering, med, they're very in their minds. It's a very stable job.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that they grew up with, and they want their children to have a stable job and sustain themselves and not struggle as a lot of, let's say, my parents, they struggled,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want that to happen to their child, kind of thing.
Mhm. I think also it definitely helps if you have older siblings that have already gone through university. So like your parents, or I guess like yeah, if you have older siblings and your parents know what to expect for university for when you go to university, like it's not completely new to them. So I think that definitely helps as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess they
Yeah.
experienced a lot of things with my sister when she went to university first, and for me,
Mm-hmm.
they were a little bit more lenient on what I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think for them, from like my parents never went to post-secondary education, so they don't really know too much about it, like about like the workload and like what's expected, and all that stuff. So I think it's definitely important to communicate with their parents and
Mm-hmm.
just be patient, and hopefully they're patient with you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Communication is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah. Also, like, agree. Well, like a lot of Asian parents, it seems like they're cultivating yappies pretty much. If you know what a yappy is, like if
Mm-hmm.
you watch Tuang Fu,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't
the
know what it
series,
is.
it's like a young Asian professional, and pretty much those people are, or a yappy is considered someone who just like wants a stable job and just like wants to settle down and just live that life, I guess, rather than pursuing something bigger and like motivating or becoming more inspired or motivated to change something for the better.
Oh,
If that makes
okay.
sense. Yeah.
Okay.
You
Mm-hmm.
should watch the series. It's good.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Hmm. What did your parents think about when you switched degrees, Pranaya?
Honestly, they liked it because they didn't want me to go into sciences because they knew I'd get nothing out of it.
Oh, oh,
So when I said I was gonna do nursing, they're like, "What the heck? Go for it!"
nice.
But once now now if I want to go back to school, then that's another question. They don't want me to change my field of profession. They're
Mm,
like, "You already completed nursing and you already have a job. You're gonna have experience. Why don't you just continue with that career rather than change it?"
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Mm-hmm.
it's a
And
question of that.
Yeah.
how do you think of that?
What do I think of it?
And like, how do you think of it? Like, how do you think of your parents telling you not to switch degrees? Like, do you think
I mean,
that's stressful?
I don't know. Right now, I'm at the point where I'm testing this out, how nursing is,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not 100% that I'm going to switch, right? Like, a big part of me wants to, but I'm not 100% just yet because it's just so big. There's so many things that I still have to explore, and maybe I'll like something. But
Mm-hmm.
in the case where I do have to switch, or where I do end up switching, I think they'll understand
Mm. That's good.
because
Yeah.
it's because it's what do I say? They're more open-minded now than what they used to
Mm-hmm.
be.
Mm-hmm.
So they understand. I guess it's a privilege for us. Honestly, it's a privilege for us
Yeah.
to be able to do so many degrees.
To
You
have
know?
like the luxury, yeah, to like
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
switch our minds,
choose.
you know. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
yeah. So, they understand that, and they just don't want me to struggle in the future. It's
Mm-hmm.
literally, I know that's how they think.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it's also
that's
Asian
yeah.
parents. They want you to be able to, support them later on when they can't support themselves.
Yeah, that's the Asian mindset.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I it's very appreciative to like understand that your parents are open-minded and they're understanding of you, and I don't know. I think that's really awesome like to have that support from your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Or just from
Yeah.
anyone, I guess. To have support from anyone, I think it's very appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Definitely helps. Yeah. How about you, Dennis? What did your parents think when you told them you want to do social work?
They were like, "What the heck?" They're like, "Why?" They're
Yeah.
like, and then I'm like, "Yeah, another 3 years," and they're like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but then like I explained it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's fine. Like you can do it." And I don't know. When I like first brought it up, I was a little scared because I thought they would be like, "No, just like continue, get a job, do human resources, and just live with that."
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know. They were open-minded, just like your parents, Pranaya, and yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Because they also now realize that it's your life, right?
Hmm.
Because once you're, let's say, I don't know when you're gonna move out. Once you move out, it's just your life is completely gonna be different.
Hmm. Exactly.
Because you make your own decisions. It's you who spends that 8 hours or 12 hours, depending on how much you work,
Hmm.
at that job. And you're going to do that for the rest of your life, maybe. But there's a lot of people right now who do a lot of career changes.
Hmm.
Because
Exactly.
when I was in school, there were a lot of, um, when I was in nursing school, right? There's a lot of people who were parents. And they were like, yeah, I'm going to do this as another job because I'm tired of the job I have.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I've met older people, and it's just changed my mind too. It's just
Hmm.
so it's a eye-opening experience when you see the parents, or not parents, but what do you call the older
It's like older
people? So
generation. Yeah.
older generation, so people who are there in their 30s and 40s, they're going back to school.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's definitely like brave of them almost to go back to school. Because I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, what? You're going back to school? Like you should already have your life figured out," kind of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
But you know, it's like not reality, and I think that's okay. Like it's just what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because um, I'll give you an example. One of the people I met, he was an electrician,
Mm-hmm.
and then he said I was talking to him. He said he had a son that was my age, and then he was going back to school. So I'm guessing he was at least 50.
Mm-hmm.
And he's changing from being an electrician to being a nurse, and I was like, whoa, that's a
Wow.
big change.
Yeah, for sure. It's like so different from what you already know.
Yeah,
You know, and I think it's definitely hard too because when you're older, like you kind of have more depending on you. Like if you have a family, you know, and you have like things to pay for, like going back to
yeah,
school, it's not easy. It's definitely
Hmm.
not something that should be looked down upon, you know. So props to them.
Yeah. And yeah, and then I guess like bringing it back to like my story. Ever since like I
Hmm.
brought up social work, my parents are like,
Hmm.
"You're not going to do another degree after this, are you?" And they're kind of
Hmm.
afraid that I'm going to continue doing degrees my entire life.
oh,
Yeah,
you know
Hmm.
what, if I had a lot of money, I'd do that.
you just
if
do
i
it. Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about you know getting money, and
Yeah.
let's say you magically got a check of $5,000
Yeah.
every month, right? And you didn't have
Hmm.
to worry about money. I'd probably be in university learning different things.
Yeah.
Can I
Sounds
just
pretty fun.
live off student loans? Is that the
Yeah.
thing?
Just forever student loan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then when I
So when
die,
you
Oh
they'll
my
be
die,
like, yeah,
what do we do
Yeah.
with this debt?
yeah. They're just
Hmm.
like, oh wow, he got us good.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's why there's a limit, I think.
Yeah, there is.
Oh gosh,
They
that's
thought ahead.
funny.
Mm.
Outsmarted the government. but it doesn't happen. Okay. What is our next question with this? Where is this going?
So our next question is, when you got into university, did you expect anything different? Like, did you expect what it was going to be like, how it
Mhm.
was? Or let's say compared to like high school, how did it differ? Was it more stressful? Was it more fun? I guess like
Mhm.
what was your overall experience of university?
So for me, I feel like it wasn't like completely a huge, like 360 degrees like change.
Hmm.
Especially because I guess all of us we went to a fairly large high school with a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it was normal to be around like just like a bigger community and you don't really know a lot of people.
Right.
So like especially for those undergrad classes where there's like hundreds of kids, like I didn't find that scary or intimidating. And that's just kind of what I expected, and going into the environment, like I was already comfortable with that to start
Mm.
with. In terms of the workload, I feel like it did definitely increase.
Mm.
But it wasn't anything that was like, oh my gosh, like I can't handle this. I was, you know,
Mm-hmm.
especially since like a lot of I took IB courses in high school, so that just required extra work, so it was just normal to me, I guess, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like there was a lot more freedom for sure in university because there's no one, dictating you to go to class. So
Yeah.
if you don't go to class, like all the consequences are on you.
Yeah.
Like it's just you're harming yourself that way. And then what else? Yeah, and the days were just structured differently. Like depending on how you schedule your classes, like you could be done super early and you would just like have the rest of the day and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so free, but like not really
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are kind of some of the things I've noticed. Changing from high school to first year. Of course, everyone's first year experience is different, depending on where they come from and whatnot. So
Mm.
yeah. How about you
Would
guys?
would you say like IB prepared you for university?
A little bit. I think even in high school, maybe I think I studied more than some people did. Definitely more less than other people, but I'm kind of someone that needs to study or else they won't do well. Like I don't get material super easy on the first try, so
Mm.
I definitely have to put in the effort to get better grades.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew that about myself, going into university. And as well, some of the like courses I did take for IB, like they provided extra information that was applicable to some of the like undergraduate
Mm.
classes. But I didn't substitute. I didn't substitute any of the undergrad courses for the IB courses that I took because I didn't want to miss anything, and I felt like I still needed those like really foundational courses and stuff. So yeah.
That's respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Pranaya, what was your experience like?
I don't know. It wasn't that different because I knew a lot of the people.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Popular. Kidding.
no. I wasn't saying that because I guess this goes to all of us because we all went to the university that's in the same city, and it's
Yeah.
just we know the people around there, so it's not like the people who came from a different city for the university.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that sudden change. We lived around here, we went to school, and then we hung out with the people we know. So it
Mm.
wasn't too much different.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess education-wise, things were a lot different because just like Marissa said, nobody's really urging you to do anything. It's just kind of on your own pace
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
on how you do things. But I guess that exams and the projects hit you hard. Don't
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
procrastinate, kids.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Yeah, don't
Mm-hmm.
procrastinate. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I don't have much to say about that. Differences between that and that.
I think also just because there's a lot more people, so like you get a lot more smart people. I feel like in the pool. So like
Oh,
even though you've done well in high school, doesn't necessarily mean you'll do well in university if you don't have those good study habits. Because there's a lot of smart people out there, and just because they weren't in your high school doesn't mean that they're not in your like university
yeah, and then you
courses. So
feel
that was a big thing. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the most shockers for a lot of people is like they think they're going to do well in university just because they did well in high school. But
Yeah, for
then
sure.
it's you have to really prepare yourself, like know how to study, know your stuff. Like those
Hmm.
people who don't have to study in high school, they end up realizing that they don't have any study habits for university and therefore it kind of like breaks them down. But like
Hmm.
I'm not saying that like if you do bad in university, it's like the end of the world, but like just prepare yourself and if you do bad, just realize it really isn't the end. Like you can really pick yourself up because I know a lot of people who failed courses and they still got a
Hmm.
degree, they still got a good job and got a good
Hmm.
future and yeah.
Hmm.
Mm,
For sure. That's like definitely another thing where like your grades, don't dictate your future, your
mm-hmm.
exam marks and everything. And it's hard because in that moment, you see your grade and you're just like, this is the end of the world, you know?
Right.
And it's really hard to almost put yourself just in a bigger perspective and just, know that the future won't be dependent on what you're doing at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for me, for my experience for university, it was a little well, okay, first of all, like with the people around us, like the friends from high school, we all
Hmm.
took different degrees, so in a way we couldn't like it was interesting because we can't really bond in the way of like sharing similar classes like we did in high school, like saying,
Hmm.
"Hey, what did you get on this math test?" or "What was the question?" or "What was your answer for that specific question on that science exam?" or whatever.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
like you can't really bond with everyone in university like that, but it's interesting that you can still bond with your friends by saying, "Hey, like this is what I learned from my like degree," and then I can learn something else from their degrees, and it just like it built on, and it was really interesting how we're all going into different like paths, but like we
Hmm.
could still bond with each other through
Hmm.
acknowledging their own studies, I guess.
I see what you
Yeah.
mean.
Hmm. And I guess for me, university wasn't stressful. I'm not sure if like I didn't get stressed a lot throughout university. I'm not sure if it's because I took a easy degree or I don't know. Like it
Hmm.
like a lot of people like I understand like get really stressed during exams and stuff, but then I'm just like, oh, okay, it's exam time. I just gotta do what I gotta do. I'm not trying to
Hmm.
boast here saying that I'm smart or anything because I'm really not.
Wow.
I'm really not smart. But like it to me, if it does sort of feel like high school, I do think that there is somewhat less work personally, just because in high school you had to do all the nuances of like homework that I personally
Hmm.
didn't think I had to do. But like in
Hmm.
university, you kind of have the option to not do some of the homework or like not like really look into or like continue doing the same thing over and over again. And like you just for me it's like, oh, I just got to know this one theory or whatnot and that's all I really need to know. Like I don't really need to do much more for it.
Hmm.
Mm.
I think for me, the stress kind of changed as I went on to like my third and fourth year and so on.
Mm.
Like, I think just, as you get more into it, you kind of know how to handle things better,
Right. Yeah.
So that's definitely something that helps. Knowing that when you get into your like higher years, hopefully the stress gets better,
Hmm.
you know.
And I learned from a specific study where it was talking about how stress is actually like a friend. So pretty much if you acknowledge your stress in a more optimistic point of view and understanding that if you feel stress, that means your body is telling you that you need to like quickly pick up on something. Or I guess like let's say for hobbies, when you feel stressful and you're like currently working on something, that's when you realize that you're you actually have to like pick something up and that's when you feel more courage or you have to tell yourself, oh, I need to like keep pushing myself and then I'm gonna get it. And like stress is kind of that indicator that tells you, hey, like you're forgetting something or you're not really understanding something right now. So like let's try and get this. And stress is in a way like a friend that helps you or tells you like you gotta work harder on it. I don't know if that really made sense. Like,
Hmm.
just think stress as a more positive aspect rather than letting you down.
Yeah,
Like,
I
Yeah,
think
but
I can. Sorry, go ahead.
isn't there like, frick, I don't remember my psychology classes very much, but there's the good stress and the bad stress.
mm,
Do you remember what they're?
I never took psychology, but I heard of
Oh
it.
my goodness. But
Hmm.
yeah, there's an amount of stress that is good, but if it's too much, then you just collapse under it.
Mm,
Hmm.
So the
Yeah.
one that's pushing you is like the good stress.
mm-hmm,
But if it gets too overwhelming, then it turns into a bad stress.
I
Man,
see.
there's specific words for this, but I don't can't remember because this was such a long time ago now.
It's okay.
I mean, it's only like 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
That's yeah,
but
that's
once
fine.
once you don't use the knowledge for 2 years, you kind of start
Mm-hmm.
to lose it. But yeah, so stress, yes. So I'm just reinstating your point. There's good stress, so you can take it positively, but if you're just overstressed, then you still have to take a break from it or find ways to deal with the stress.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I think also it's really dependent on like people. So like some people can work really well under like stressful situations, and they kind of need the stress to be able to like be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like some people under stress, like they kind of just collapse and crumble, and they don't really, you
Mm-hmm.
know, be productive in those situations.
Yeah.
So definitely like know yourself. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any tips for being in university and like dealing with stress?
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously, yeah. So when you feel the good stress and like feel that motivation, like continue using that stress and utilizing it. But if it gets to the point where you actually feel like you're gonna fall or like it's draining you so much, start understanding what self-care is, I guess. And
Mhm.
but don't make sure you don't overuse self-care to the point where it becomes self-indulgence, where you feel like you need to take a hot bath every night or you gotta like eat chocolate every 2 seconds because you want to self care for yourself, or I don't know, like take care of yourself.
Mhm.
Like you gotta really understand where the threshold is and where the balance is between stress and self care.
Don't
Mhm.
take hot baths, take cold showers.
Exactly. It'll
That's
wake you
funny.
up.
Yeah, it'll wake
Mhm.
you up. It'll make you woke. But honestly, though, everybody reacts to stress differently, and everybody
Hmm.
has different methods of coping with it.
Mhm.
Um, my way of coping probably won't work for everyone, and your way of coping probably won't work for me.
Hmm.
You know, so I
Mhm.
think it's more of just trial and error. See how one way, let's say you relax, you just I guess you can take a cold shower, see if cold shower helps you, honestly. It may help for some people, you never know.
Try
Mhm.
new things. Try new things.
Mhm.
Yeah. So just be open, keep your mind open, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I think for me, I had like part-time jobs throughout university, and you would think because it takes up more time away from school, it would like kind of make you more stressed out. But in a way, I can see how it helped with the stress because it was able to remove me from the school environment, and like at work, I was focused on work and didn't have to think about school. So it was nice to have a break and that separation, from constantly having to think about, oh, like I have this coming up and like I have to study for this and this
Mm,
and this. So if you can try to find an environment where you can kind of just give yourself a break, like your mind a break from thinking about school, I think it definitely can help.
hmm.
It helped for me anyways, so that's definitely something to try, I think. So
I heard that a lot
yeah.
too. Like a lot of my friends also took like jobs or volunteering positions just to take a break. And like personally for me too, I was working at Kumon, which is a tutoring center, and like during that time, like I would just like be unconsciously like marking things, but like at the same time, like I would be thinking about like what I should do when I get home and like scheduling like what I need to finish for school and like how
Hmm.
I should like take care of myself, when to take a break and I don't know, like it's a very calming yet like a thinking period pretty much, which
Yeah.
is really nice.
But
Hmm.
it has to be part-time. Like you need to
Yeah.
have a certain amount of
Yeah.
hours. Or if you're gonna overwork yourself, let's say it's an escape from school, but if you start
Hmm.
overworking yourself and then go to school and keep yourself super busy and no time to rest, then you're I almost swore. Then then yeah, that's bad for you.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think definitely
balance.
like a balance and like a chill part-time job.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so yeah,
And on top of that, you get money.
yeah, which is really nice because you can at least like treat yourself once in a while. You don't have to feel like
Exactly. And that's a self-care
can't do
sort of
anything.
thing.
Yeah.
Except for
Yeah.
some people during exams, they self-care by buying a bunch of things, and then after exams, they're like, "What did I just do?"
Yeah.
Watch out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
For
understand
sure.
that.
Hmm.
I don't understand it either, but that's how some people take care of themselves.
That's true. I don't see the
Hmm.
point of buying. Does it make you happy?
I think it does for some people. It's just like, hey,
Yeah.
like getting that delivery, you get excited about it. I don't know.
It's
Interesting.
something. It's a new thing, I guess. You
Yeah,
know.
it's like
Hmm.
when you get a new
Interesting.
toy when you're younger,
Wow.
or a new game,
Yeah.
Wow. Today is the last day for Amazon Prime.
right?
And you know how my headset broke? And I'm still being very scringy about if I
What?
should even buy one.
I just bought a headset.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I'll link it to you later. It's a HyperX one. It's really cheap right now.
The cloud?
Cloudcore, yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Okay,
link it
we're
to me.
good.
Yeah, we're getting off topic. Link it to me.
Um, I guess I don't know. Do you have any other like questions that we can talk about university before I?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I guess one thing would be, how did you guys make friends through university? Like, did you find it was easy
Mm, good question.
or tough? Like, any tips for people that want to make friends?
Mm,
Dennis,
do you
go
want to?
ahead.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
So I think student clubs is a huge thing. Um,
Hmm.
I know a lot of people, like I was on Reddit a lot, and a lot of people like were like, "Hey, I need friends. Like I feel so lonely and stuff." But like definitely engage in student clubs because a lot of them are very welcoming. And I joined a I joined VSA, which is Vietnamese Student Association, even though I'm
Hmm.
Korean, and
Hmm.
I even became a
Vice president.
committee member
Hmm.
or like someone who was on board and like dealing with the events and stuff. But yeah, I think just like through that experience, I got to meet a lot of new people and made new bonds and stuff. And I think it's a way for you to definitely meet new people, to
Hmm.
find people in different degrees for sure, rather than just like within your own faculty. And three, and through that, it allows you to make even more connections because they will start introducing you to their faculty members or their side of friends from high school. And I think that's a way to like network your friendship. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's my biggest way to get friends from university.
Hmm.
No, yeah, I agree. I think clubs did help me a lot.
Hmm.
But honestly, it's just kind of just talking to someone in your class, one of your classes, too,
Hmm.
because that led me just talk by talking to one person. I don't even know how. This was in my calculus class. Just talk to one guy, and then somehow, we just clicked, and then he introduced me to a lot of other people, and then bam. It just opened up a lot of doors to a lot of new people.
Hmm.
Just don't be scared to talk to other people, honestly. Because in
Yeah.
university, a lot of people are just not no one, but a lot of people they'll receive you with, I wouldn't say open arms, but
Yeah, for
open
sure.
thoughts.
Mm.
Yeah. I think maybe it's different for different universities and different campuses, but for me, like, U of A kind of felt cold in a way.
Mm.
Like, a lot of people would go to class and just go home. So like they wouldn't see the value in like talking to your neighbor in class or like trying to put effort into like making friends. But that's okay, you know, like some people that's just what they want and that's fine. I found that for me, like I didn't really join too many student clubs, but
Mm-hmm.
through group work was one way that I was able to meet
Mm.
people, and also labs as well. Like you're working in close proximity with other people, so that was a good way to meet friends, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
And even if you're like an introvert, like I
Mhm.
think many of us are,
Mhm.
try to reach out to a high school friend and attend to clubs with or student clubs with them. And that
Mhm.
way you can also like feel more comfortable to meet new
Mhm.
people. And also yeah, and bringing it back to like Marissa's point where like group work was definitely one of my ways because in my last semester I had this one group where we all just like really bonded really well, and then we ended up hanging out like once a month, like going out for dinner and like playing board games and stuff. And yeah, just like bonding through that was definitely one of the ways to meet new people as well.
Mhm. Yeah, that's like after graduating, you realize that there's not a lot of opportunities to meet people, like
Mm,
unless you're really outgoing and really participating in a lot of extracurriculars, you know, besides like your workplace, it tends to be hard to meet a lot of people. So
mm-hmm,
university is really the opportunity to be amongst like a huge amount of people with all different backgrounds and all different perspectives. And if you can really just keep an open mind, then I think it's cool and you can make like really cool connections with people.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I
Yeah.
totally agree because once you start working, you just meet people in your work and you go home, you sleep. That's
Mhm.
it. You don't
Yeah.
meet. I literally don't have the chance. I don't even know how to meet people anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like,
Hmm.
how do I meet more people? Like, especially in the newer city, right? I don't know anybody there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
I come back, I know like everybody here, but over there,
Hmm.
I don't even know how to make friends.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It gets tough.
for
Hmm.
who doesn't know, Pranaya is currently working out of our home city, and he's working at like a small town pretty much, and I guess it's hard for him to make new friends there.
Yeah, literally. I don't even know where to find people, honestly. So
It's okay.
it's tough. It's
We'll come
tough.
to you.
Yeah. Yes,
Hmm.
please come to me. Visit me more often. Just kidding. Don't come visit me. I'll always be back. Uh, but yeah,
um.
I think university is a really good opportunity. Good, really, really, really good time to explore yourself, explore other people, just
Mm-hmm.
make friends,
Hmm.
put in effort. I think that's the number one key. Put
Hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
effort. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't put in effort to make new friends, then you can honestly that 4 years will go by just without you making any new friends.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's
So
gonna
always
even get harder.
yeah, so always
Hmm.
put in effort.
Hmm. For sure. Yeah.
Um. Yeah. Since I don't know if we have anything else for the topic for university, do we?
Um. Do we? I would say, like, what is your like top general tip that you would give anyone entering university? Like, if you could only tell them one thing, what would you tell them?
Ooh, I know.
Mm.
Don't be scared to fail.
That's a good one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I would say have fun.
Hmm. Yeah.
What
And
about you?
I would
Yeah.
say keep an open mind,
Mm-hmm.
and just explore because sometimes you'll be surprised by what you find. Like
Mm-hmm.
especially if you didn't even know that your university had this like program. If you knew about it, it could be something that you're interested in. So just yeah, be willing to explore and learn. I guess.
Mm.
Yeah.
Since you brought that up, what was your favorite course or one course that you really enjoyed at university?
It's hard for me to pick favorites. So I'll just talk about like this one class I had. Okay, so this one class, it's called food microbiology. And it was really interesting to me because it incorporated a lot of like science elements, so like with bacteria and all that stuff, but then how it's applied to food.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of information, definitely, but after taking the class, like I didn't think about food the same way because I was like, oh my gosh, like this food could potentially be contaminated with this and like all that stuff. So it was
Oh my
it was
goodness.
definitely, yeah, it was interesting and definitely applicable to life.
Mm-hmm.
And my professors were cool and like funny, so that was like something memorable for me. Yeah.
What about you, Pranaya?
I don't know. There's a couple that pop up, but something I really enjoyed.
What's one of the couples
Oof.
that pop up?
There is surprisingly English.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. I was like, why is that popping up? Memorable ones, right? You said you'd have to say fun, but it was memorable.
Mm.
English was memorable. It wasn't the oh, frick, I don't even remember 104, 105. I don't know what they
Mm-hmm.
stand for anymore. But it was the fiction one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the fiction literature. And another one that stood out was dance. I took dance in university. It was pretty dope.
Wow, that's
And
really
another
cool.
one was astronomy.
Mm.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
Which dance
cool.
course was this?
I don't even know. Well, they
Mm.
taught me. They taught a lot of modern stuff,
I
but
see.
I can't remember the title of the dance class because it was in McEwen.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There are dance courses at U of A too, but yeah.
yeah. So it's probably different.
Since you listed more than one, now I'm gonna list two.
Okay.
um, One of them was race and racism, and I think that one was like really cool and a little mind blowing because like it talked about how race isn't a biological statement, but more of a social statement, and yeah, I think we can talk about this more in the future in another podcast, but
Yeah.
and then the other one was religion versus science, which was also quite mind blowing because it was taught by a professor who was a scientist but was also Christian, and
Mhm.
he had a hard time with like understanding because like since there's so many differences between science and really or Christianity, so like he had a hard time like meshing them together, but then he got to the idea where he was able to understand that they do perfectly align and they do come together in many different ways, which is another topic that we can talk in the future. But yeah,
Mhm.
um, yeah. Before we end this podcast, we kind of just jumped into like for this specific podcast, we kind of just jumped into the topic rather than
Mhm.
really talking about Marissa
We're gonna put you
and
on the
where
spot.
Oh, oh no, oh no. Okay,
and
I'm
where
ready
she
for
came
it.
from and who she is.
Oh, all right.
So
Um.
I'm just gonna start with a brief description. So pretty much, Marissa is a really really good friend of mine, and
Mhm.
we met in high school, and she's a very open-minded, understanding, and just a very kind person in general. And yeah, do you wanna just introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you. That was really nice
Mm,
introduction to begin with. But yeah, so like Dennis said, I met him in high school, and we've been friends for quite a while now. Um, I don't know how to introduce myself. What else do you want me to say?
what's your hobbies?
Oh, what's my hobbies?
Mm,
I really like. So I'm trying to learn more about photography.
mm,
I like music. I like movies. I love food, definitely.
mm,
So that's why I'm in nutrition and food sciences because I love food.
mm-hmm,
So I love cooking. I love trying all kinds of foods. Let's see. Oh, I like snowboarding. Oh, and I love camping. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I love camping and hiking and
They're
nature
all coming
stuff.
out.
So yeah, I'm just like, what do I do? It's hard to think about it all at once,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm,
yeah, that's kind of what I am in a little nutshell.
mm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
And I think one day, another podcast episode, we're planning on talking about food
Oh my gosh.
specifically. So maybe
Food.
Wow.
let's
I
see
I'm
would
if we
gonna
love
can
stay
get
that.
you
really
on.
quiet then, because I don't know what to talk about in food.
It's
Do I
okay.
cook? I try to.
I mean, you eat food, so that's like you're
Something,
good to
yeah.
talk about it.
I
Yeah.
guess. I
For
guess.
sure.
Just make me food, guys. You guys should both make me food. Just have
Yeah.
like a local episode. Where since we're doing this over Discord, we should just do one where we're all together and just
Ooh,
Hmm.
try making food.
that would be fun,
Yeah.
actually. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
And
For
it'll be
sure.
a video,
Right.
not
Mhm.
Rather
some
than
random video.
rather than falling leaves or
Yeah.
clouds or stars.
Yeah. Oh
Hmm.
goodness.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. There's 5 minutes left before it's an hour, so do you wanna like fit
All
something in?
right. I think one thing is so I guess about university.
Mm.
Do you guys have anything to say about like mental health or like any
Oh my
tips
goodness.
of how to go to make sure you're healthy in the brain as you go through
Gonna
this?
help.
I didn't know how to phrase it, but
It's okay.
yeah. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts?
It's definitely an issue right now,
Hmm.
not just here, but in a lot of different places. Um, Mental health is very, really important. So take care of it. And if you feel like it's really overwhelming, talk to somebody, whether it be a friend, your parents, or just even a teacher or a professor.
Mm-hmm.
And and if you feel like you just want to reach out to someone and you have nobody there, you can still call what's it called? Those hotline
Hotlines,
numbers.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
Mm-hmm.
distress
different
lines.
areas. Yeah, distress lines. Different areas have different numbers. Find out what
Mm-hmm.
it is. You can just Google search it, and it'll pop up. And
Hmm.
honestly, I'd rather talk to someone. This is my personal right, so I'd rather talk to someone than keep it bottled up.
Mm.
It
Mm-hmm.
helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely look at your school programs and what they provide, because at our school there's actually like a peer listening council or like group where
Mm-hmm.
students are trained to listen to other people and their issues and understand your rants and vents and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll provide you the appropriate resources if needed. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
don't don't think that you're alone in this, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely take care of yourself.
Yeah, I think another thing is that like throughout university, like people always kind of lightly joke about like mental health. In a way, not joke, but they're kind of how do I say this? Like sometimes it's feels like it's okay to like not be okay at university. Like it feels like
Mm-hmm.
that's the norm.
Mm.
But I think definitely like take care of yourself, and if something doesn't feel right, it's okay to put school on the back burner and just take care of your mental health first, because that should be a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there are definitely a lot of resources. You just kind of have to be aware and look for them. And yeah, talking about it is like a really good tip.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's like a lot of people do make, in a way, do joke about mental health, just like as a coping mechanism, of course.
Mhm.
But even like through that, it does create stereotypes where it like, not stereotypes, stigmas. It creates stigmas where people are like, it's just a joke. It's like nothing that I should worry about. Like, but it's something that people actually go through, and um, don't think or don't demean your stress or your mental health, because it is
Mhm.
very important. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I think we've definitely heard of like the few stories of people committing suicide in during
Mhm.
university. So it's something important to keep on top of if you can.
Mhm.
Mm, yeah.
There's a student club called Jack Talk, which I went to a conference for, and pretty much this individual named Jack committed suicide, and his parents were like, they didn't want to just sit there, and they actually wanted to create something out of this, and they created this student club where they funded, and I think it's throughout all of Canada right now in a bunch of different universities, and they all come together and talk about mental health, how to deal with it, how to help others, and yeah, I think definitely looking into different programs and clubs will open your mind and try to get rid of the stigmas that try to demean everything. Yeah. Okay, that's 1 hour, and
Don't cut it yet.
I know, but Marissa, do you know how we end these? Or unless, oh wait,
No,
wait.
no, don't. No, no, Marissa, you have to choose a topic for us for next week.
Oh, that's how you guys end it?
Well,
What
we
topic?
don't know our topic for
Yeah,
next
we just
week,
don't
so
know one.
Oh, I see.
So if you have anything for us to talk about, just throw it out.
Yeah. Um,
no
what was
pressure.
another one that? Oh, I think I suggested talking about being like a first generation.
Mm,
I guess like so having your parents be immigrants and then having you be like the firstborn in a new country.
I see.
I think might be a unique thing to share.
mhm.
Okay.
We'll write that down. We'll
Yeah.
consider.
And another one would be like the environment would be kind of cool to talk
Talk
about.
about the environment itself.
Yeah, the environment
Global
and like
warming. It's not a
yeah,
hoax.
yeah,
It's not a hoax.
yeah.
I hope that if you're in your generation, you believe that global warming is real because it is real.
Mhm.
Uh,
Environment and maybe like health related. I don't know because I know Pranaya, you're a nurse, so I'm sure that you have a lot of knowledge in like I don't in that
yeah,
field. So that'd be kind of cool to talk about. Like
Hmm.
just health in general.
um
Take care of
yeah
yourself. Go to the doctor if you need to.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's important. Come to Pranaya if you need help.
Yeah, don't. Don't.
Go to Marissa if you need some nutrition help.
Eat your
Oh,
vegetables.
Exactly.
yeah, see, I'm gonna say take care of yourself. Yeah, go to the doctor. And then she's just gonna say eat your vegetables. And then it's just gonna ask for your money.
When would you like to get fired?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so we're gonna end it soon. Subscribe, like, and comment down below if you like our videos, or if you dislike our videos, maybe give a dislike, but I encourage you not to dislike our videos.
Yeah, just turn your phone upside down and then just click the dislike button, which will actually be a like button. So,
Smart.
yeah.
And yeah, give us any comments that you think that we should improve on, or if you want us to talk about something specific. And tell us what your degree is in university. That would be cool.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
of course.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I post your Instagram in the description?
Yeah, I don't really post too much on there, but
Mm.
go ahead. Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool. And I didn't tell Pranaya, but we also made an Instagram.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I think I found it.
What?
Oh yeah, you did.
Didn't even tell
Yeah,
me.
Marissa found it before you.
What?
that's
What
me.
the heck?
I just made
Oh,
it.
okay, I guess I said we don't really need an Instagram. That's
Yeah.
why.
And then I'm
Why?
like, no, we do need it. So then I
You
made
made an Instagram, but you didn't follow me. Excuse me.
it's not following anyone right now. But
Okay.
yeah, the description's down below. Follow us on Instagram. Follow Marissa on Instagram. And we're gonna end the podcast. And do you remember how we end these, Marissa?
Nope. I don't remember how to end them.
We make weird noises.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Okay.